So, so any CEO who's struggling to grow and scale their business is one, they're pretty typical. Um, it's really hard to work in your business and work on your business. So it's hard to be feet on the street and also at a high level and to move between ride that elevator back and forth. It's a real challenge for folks, and most people really struggle doing it. I know I struggled doing it. I was much better at being the visionary sometimes as being the executor. So the first thing I'd say is if you're struggling to grow and scale your business, bring in some outside help. Whether it's an internal hire, if you're the visionary salesperson, then bring in a strong operator. If you're a really strong operator and you can't drive revenue and you're realizing that maybe you're the bottleneck in the sales process, then consider bringing in a salesperson. If you're really unsure of what you should do, then bring in a coach. Bring in someone who can help you understand and lay out a plan and hold you accountable to executing your plan, and then you hold your staff accountable to executing that plan. And then the other thing I always tell CEOs who are really struggling on what should I do first with my day? Because, as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, I don't have a boss by design. Well, I've got one client right now. He and I talk about this on a weekly basis, and the conversation is very simple. What'd you work on this week that's going to make you money? What were your money-making activities? What were your money-making meetings? Because he was so wrapped up in the joy of having a big to-do list. And I did this, and I did this, and I met with this employee, and I dealt with these issues. But none of them were making him any money. Once we got him unstuck to recognize that as the CEO and as the lead salesperson in his company, and he can sell, his number one thing he should be doing is sales. His number one thing he should be doing is meeting with people who can do business with him. His number one thing he should be doing is making it easy for those people to do business with him. And the only way he can do that is to measure how many money-making activities is he doing per week. We figured out he's willing to work about 40 hours a week because he's got a good business and is cash flowing positively. He doesn't need to put in 80 hours a week anymore. So we literally took his calendar and we blocked out appointments with himself for money-making activities. And he says, you know what, my optimal energy hours are between the hours of 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So that's his money-making time. And he just cranks out calls and meetings and all of his different things to grow his business. So his money-making time is very clear. And what we do when we do on our weekly coaching calls, I say, all right, so where are you standing with your money-making KPIs? Report in. As a coach, I hold him accountable to what he said he wanted. He wants to grow the business. He's the revenue generating. He's the engine of that train. And since he started doing that, he's got all these new ideas and he's got all these different ways to do it because he got so wrapped up in before the joy of crossing stuff off a list and feeling like he had accomplished something when really it was a to-do list. Now he's focused on the strategy of the organization. He's focused on the money-making activities of the organization. And while he doesn't get that instant jolt of crossing something off a list, what he does is now we're creating that customer journey. We're creating that sales journey within his organization so he can benchmark every step of the way where that prospect is. Are they coming aboard? Are they going to fall off? And how to keep that sales funnel filled. The crazy thing was no one had ever taught him that. He's an engineer by training. He can just really sell. And he'd never been through a sales course. He'd never been through a sales management course. So as a coach, I came in and talked to him. Same thing my coach told me back when I was turning my company around. He goes, everything you do should be money-making activity. If it's not a money-making activity, then do it after hours. But between the hours of 9 and 5, it's money-making activities all the time. So that's really where I think entrepreneurs can free up their mindset, free up their time, and to grow and scale their companies.